All right, let's get into making games with Pygame. I think I shared with you all near the beginning of class that um, video games were one of the reasons that I started getting into programming in the first place. When I was young, I used to love playing video games, now that I'm old, I still love playing video games. Um, and when I was a kid, I was always really creative and wanted to try things out. So as soon as I learned that you could sit down at a computer and type some stuff in and make a game of your own, I immediately wanted to learn how to do that. Wanted to learn how to program, wanted to learn how to draw the graphics and all of that stuff. Even though back then the access to the tools for creating games was just non-existent. I mean, the people who created games were the same people who could build a computer from scratch parts. And so uh, learning to do that was tough, but that's what sort of kept me going in programming for a long time until I realized that I also like making other things that are not games. I still really enjoy building games. I think there's something special about that kind of playful interaction with a computer that's really fun to create. And I like the mix of interaction and graphics and design and all of the things that go into making a game. Um, Pygame is a great library. It makes it really easy, comparatively speaking, to create a game. Now, games are by nature fairly complex because they involve a lot of different interactions and a lot of things going on all at once. But I think Pygame makes it pretty close to as easy as possible to make a game. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to go through the parts of Pygame, some of the main features and the concepts that you need to know. And then I'm going to walk you through some code that I already wrote. It's already on Canvas, but we're going to do a walkthrough. And I'm going to show you how the parts work together to build a very, very simple game. And I'm going to encourage you to download that code and put some images to it and actually see if you can get it up and running on your computer. And then I want you to start playing around with some of the variables to better understand how that code works. And finally, the next time we get together, which will not be on Thursday because we'll all be stuffing ourselves with turkey and other assorted foods, it'll be next Tuesday. We'll get together and we'll pick up the second half of this module and we'll talk about how we can take that base code that we worked with today and use it to create a game of our own. Okay, so it's a very, very basic type of game, but it's kind of funny because if you take a look at how that game works and you were able to time travel back to like 1985 and walk into a video game arcade, what you would probably see is that about a third to a half of all of the games in that arcade use the same basic mechanic with some tweaks. So it's very common, very, very common to see games like this. And so we'll start with that. But before we jump in, I do want to give you some foundational stuff.